Dr. OHara, as you know, is our fourth candidate. He is presently at Daytona Community College at Daytona Beach, Florida, and I'll let him give you the rest of his background. These people have not been, well, they should have been given your one-page bio, but I think maybe a short resume of your academic career would be appropriate at this time.
Okay, good. Thank you, and thank you very much for having me here. Before I give you the bio, I want to tell you how much I love being here. I talked to my wife last night on the phone, and she's, well, little story. In 1988, Murray State put on a conference at the Executive Inn, and I was invited to come and give 2 presentations at that conference. It was on the subject of self-esteem and how to treat people, how to treat them well so that they will do good work. And I fell in love with the place. I went home and told my wife, I'd never been to Paducah before, she had never heard of Paducah before, just what a great place it was, and if we ever leave Florida, this is where we'd love to come to. And I discovered that one of my colleagues is from Mayfield, and so he fed me more information about the area, and so for the past couple of years I've been learning about it. I called Darlene last night, and she said, well, how is it? I said, it's better. And it is. I also want to tell you that I spent part of the evening going through this brochure that I'm sure that some of you, if not all of you in this room, has something to do with. And if you've never even been here, you want to come here. This is a great marketing piece. Anybody who reads it and looks at and learns about Paducah from this will want to come anyway. And I want to ask somebody who might know where this photo came from. The one at the bottom of the page. Is it a photo of a painting, or is it a photograph? But it is a gorgeous picture. And if you don't love music and you see this picture, you'll fall in love with music. Somebody help me with that one.
It's a photo that came line the sound. It is a photo.
It's a local person. It's the child.
So it's not a photo of a painting. It's a photo.
No.
Wow.
And I think it's an actual class setting of music classroom, from what I understand.
That is a gorgeous photograph. I fell in love with music just looking at that picture. Well, about Len OHara, I do have the academic credentials for the job. I went to Wake Forest University for my bachelor's degree, but I got there by way of Los Angeles City College, a community college. So I started off in community colleges, and then after our daughter was born during my sophomore year of school, we went back to my wife's hometown, and that's Winston-Salem, and I went to Wake Forest. And then from there I went to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And both of those experiences, bachelor's and master's degree, are in biology. So I ended up being a biology and a chemistry teacher for many years. I went to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania as an instructor, and I stayed for 8 years as an instructor and then became a dean there in Bethlehem. While I was in Bethlehem, I was granted a sabbatical year to go to UCLA, and I got my doctorate from UCLA. After spending another 3 years as a dean in Bethlehem, I went to Wytheville, Virginia as a dean of instruction. And Wytheville, if you don't know where it is, it's where I-77 and 81 come together. And if you don't know where that is, it's about 75 miles southwest of Roanoke. And it's out there in the toe of the state of Virginia in the mountains, and it's a gorgeous place. I stayed there 5 years and then went to Daytona Beach Community College, first as a dean of the School of Technologies, where I ran 80 technical programs, and then for the past 3 years I have been the vice president and provost in charge of 4 campuses for Daytona Beach Community College. In that capacity, I've done many things that I think contribute to why I want to be the president here. The job that I had was a multifaceted job, and that I got to design, build, occupy, staff, and put programs into 4 new campuses. That was exciting, but that wasn't the best part of it. The best part of it was that my job was also to bring the college and the community and everything about the community together. My job, I guess, in the very best sense of the word, was to market Daytona Beach Community College, and in turn to market the local communities to other people who would want perhaps to come there and locate or to find out about those areas. So what I've spent most of my time doing for the past 3.5 years, and I've told this, I'm not just telling you this, I have told the faculty and the staff and the students and everyone else that I spend most of my time working in and for the community as a chief executive officer, because I think that's where the lion's share of my time should be spent. And so what I've been doing at Daytona Beach is I am on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce. I belong to committees of 100 in several communities, and in our area, a committee of 100 is a gathering, a monthly gathering of business and industry leaders who are support groups for one another, helping to enhance business and industry and bring new businesses and desirable businesses to the area. I am on the education committees of the Chamber of Commerce, and I belong to several of those. I'm very active in the Rotary clubs, and I belong to more groups than sometimes my wife would like to hear me say, but I think that's my responsibility. I think that that's how I can contribute most to the success of my students, because my job is, first of all, to promote Daytona Beach Community College. And if I were to come here, my job would be to promote Paducah Community College, Paducah Junior College. And the way one does that, anyone who is in business, and the people around this table are, of course, in business, the way one does those kinds of things is to become deeply involved and committed to the community that you are expecting to have something given to you from. I told the students a while ago, they said, well, they said to me, how would you advise us to become successful in getting our things done at the college and getting more student activities and more involvement? And my advice to them was to become involved. My advice to them was to show the faculty and the staff that you're committed to the college by getting involved in activities, by spending the time and the effort to support the things the college needs and wants. That's how you gain friends, that's how you gain trust, that's how you gain respect. And when you trust someone and you respect someone and you know that person's business, you're likely to turn to that person when you need a service that they can provide and not to their competitor. And so what I've done is I've spent a great deal of time in the community, becoming part of the communities, becoming very much a part of economic development. I've been doing that for many years, even in Wytheville. I chaired, when I lived in Wytheville, the marketing committee for Southwest Virginia, and our job was to market through economic development Southwest Virginia. It's not an easy sell, but once you see you spend the time examining the values of an area, you can put together a convincing description and argument for that area, and we marketed through New England and brought firms to Southwest Virginia, and as a result, we're not only able to market the area and help economic development, but the payoff for me was that my students got jobs. And the payoff for them was they were able to stay in their communities and not have the brain power go somewhere else. So the whole thing fits. The whole idea of economic development, of being involved in chambers of commerce, of knowing people like yourselves and the businesses that you have, so I know what kind of students you need to work for you, and I'm able to bring those entities together. There is a tremendous payoff for me in doing that. So probably the longest suit that I have, and I've told the committee this in writing and yesterday, is that I enjoy and I'm good at bringing groups together. I enjoy and I'm good at seeing how the college is connected intimately and intricately with this town and with this county and the surrounding area. We are so totally independent of one another that I cannot imagine being the chief executive officer and not being an intimate part of the community. And that's not coming from a taking position, but it's coming from the realization that I would need to give to this community. I have a wife who enjoys involvement in communities as well, and I think that you would find that the two of us would come here with the expectation of contributing as much as we can possibly contribute to the community, all the way from next month I go back and judge the Christmas parades and things like that. There are many things and ways you can show that you care about a community. So economic development is something that I have done a great deal of, and I believe that that is the role of a community college president, and deep involvement in the community as well. With that, I would hope that you have some questions of me, and so I'd like to really turn it over to you.
Dr. OHara, not knowing what you've been asked, or also not knowing what you've been told about our community and the setting as far as higher education, higher education, you made a comment that you're good at bringing groups together. It's a good comment, because you've got the situation here. You got PCC, PJC, UK, Murray State University, West Kentucky Vocational School, potentially SIU over Carbondale as partners in higher education. You have 2 campus locations plus allied health venture, joint venture, I would call it. You have the Murray State University 2+2 Model Center program, and most recently announced the UK Graduate Center. Now, with your background, how do you see yourself fitting in that kind of situation?
Well, that's an excellent question. I'm sure everybody who comes and sits in this chair is going to tell you that they can walk on water because they want the job, and I do too. But I can say that that is my long suit, and here's how you work it. You play to everybody's strength, and you find out what their strength is. What I don't believe in is grabbing the territory. I think that was a method of doing business that is behind us. I think as a nation and internationally, collaboration is the way to do business. At Daytona Beach, what we have done, and I would see it happening here very well, is we have built on our campus a 4-story building for the University of Central Florida, because they are the university that's close to us. We gave them the land, and helped them to get the money from the legislature to build the building. They take care of the M&O, and it's been so successful that now that's a 3.5-year-old building. We're building another 4-story building, which will open this coming year. It is the University of Central Florida. It is not Daytona Beach Community College, but the students don't know the difference. I mean, they walk 150 feet, and they're in the University of Central Florida, and they get their junior and senior year taken care of. I would say that is a better way of doing business than, say, taking the other approach of saying, well, let's make Daytona Beach Community College a 4-year institution. To do it, you've got many political barriers to overcome. And I ask myself, what would be gained by me by running up against all the alumni of the University of Central Florida, running up against the legislature, running up against our charter and our stated mission, and trying to re-educate everybody who works for me into, we're no longer the mission we used to be, we're a new mission. There'd be very little to gain except maybe an ego trip on my part to say now we have a 4-year institution. So the better approach to me is to collaborate. I think with all the institutions that are around here, you would simply take the best that Southern Missouri has to offer, the best that Murray State has to offer, the best that the University of Kentucky has to offer, and be the hub. I mean, see, I think that the community college occupies a real unique niche in higher education, and one of the things we are is that we are very good at collaboration. So the community college ought to be the agency that goes out and talks to and influences the others to come here. And and serves as an excellent host rather than taking over that territory. Now that takes time, that takes politics, that takes connections, that takes being sensitive to history, it takes being sensitive to the unique needs, and that takes a while to learn, that these other institutions have. But I think a PCC or PJC would be an excellent host for that kind of thing, and not necessarily be the agency. So I think I would see my role as the president as being that person who spent that time learning of our strengths here and the desires of this community and the needs of this community. And that, again, is back to economic development and what kind of training do we need here? What kind of programs do we want to bring here? Do we want to bring engineers here? Then we pick the school that has the engineers to bring. My job is to be well informed and informed enough that I can go and talk to the other entities and say, here's what we have to offer, and here's the support you're going to get in this community if you come here, and this is the potential enrollment you're going to have, because it's got to be a winning proposition for them. I mean, it can't be a losing financial proposition just because we'd like to have it. So there's a lot of homework to be done, but I would see that collaboration an excellent role for a community college.
Let me take that a step further. You talked about marketing. How about marketing that concept, the cooperative effort between these institutions, whether it be Speed Engineering School at the University of Louisville or UK's program? How about marketing this hub, if you will, to our community and region? What kind of ideas could you bring us there?
Well, probably pretty conventional if you're a marketer. I think that the first thing you need to do is establish your own credibility, and that means getting in and doing the work and understanding things well before you go out the door. Not go out the door and try to huckster a product because somebody thinks it's a good idea or it'll get a star in your crown for instantly. So the first thing you need to do is be well informed, and that's true in so many things in this world, is to know your product, know it well enough. Then I would, and I'm trying to speak from a personal sense because I'm here to try to get a job that you may be able to help me to get, is I need to know you, because the new president is not going to be connected, but so much of this world depends on connectedness. So to market it, I need to know you, because you know the people to touch. You know the people to say, yes, this guy, this new president of ours is well informed and a trustworthy individual, and I think if he sits down and talks to you about what we're trying to do, that you can trust him. That's where you rely on advisory boards, where you rely on the chamber, where you rely on the other established groups in the area, because your credibility is the greatest thing that you can contribute to our college. If you're willing to go out the door and help make those connections, and help me to make those connections, then we're over the largest hurdle. Because once the trust is built, then it's simply a matter of very conventional marketing. It's really just a matter of getting the word in printed or written or TV form that yes, our doors are open, yes, come in, you will be welcome here, yes, we can provide this kind of service, and here is the end product you'll get the degree, and here are the number of jobs that are available to you. If I can say to 50 engineers, yes, there are 50 jobs in this area, you come through this program and you will be you will find employment as a result of coming through this program. That sells itself, and so my marketing starts with a knowledge base and ends with a knowledge base. But in between, it's the connections that you can help the college to make, because that the whole thing hinges on, do you trust the guy or don't you? If you don't, you can have the best program in the world, and you're not going to send a soul to it. You're going to find every way you can to say, gee, I'm sorry, it didn't work out, we can't sponsor somebody this term, or the person's not coming. So it hinges on that relationship.
You talked a lot about your off-campus role. What about on campus?
Obviously very important. You start by hiring the very best people you can hire. And it's not an easy process. You've got to know what you're looking for and then go out and get the best person you can hire. And or you have to nurture the people that you have. So inside, you start with the employees. And if they need development, if they need to know more, then it's your obligation to find out what it is that they need and provide it to them. It's a crime to ask somebody to do a job and not give them the tools to do the job. It's a crime to come in the door and say, we want you to do X when you've never been trained to do X. So you've got to get in tune with who your people are. If you don't have the luxury of just hiring, and most of us do not, you simply come in and you have a staff, then you need to know the staff, their strengths and their weaknesses, and provide them with all the tools they need to do the job. At the same time, you got to convey to them the sense of mission that you have. And that sense of mission doesn't come from Len O'Hara. It comes from the history of this town. It comes from the history of this college. It comes from the deliberations that have gone on around this table and at that campus. And as you begin to integrate that history and that sense of mission, you communicate that to others.